Yo, what's going on, everybody? Hope all is well. So y'all say it was a pretty hot day outside today. I actually put some ribs on the grill. Yeah. Your boy do cook a little bit on the grill, y'all. So don't get it twisted. I do cook. But I was outside with the ribs and I realized the sun was not, it was a little, what do you want to call it? Little hazy out, little clouds blocking the sun or whatever. And so I was like, it don't feel hot, but it is hot. So, anyways, y'all had on sunscreen, so don't worry. I'm not gonna get skin cancer out of my sunscreen. But anyways, y'all. So as I was out there in the heat, I realized like, man, I need to get these ribs done and get back in this house so I can quit sweating, and then get back in the house so I can actually go and record today's podcast episode. So I was busy with that all in one shot, and finally, here I am about to record today's episode. And that leads me to the next question that I have to ask y'all today. And that question is where are you at in life today? And no, it's not a trick question. It's not a joke behind it. It's a real question. Where are you at in life today? How do you feel about life? What do you think about your life? Or have you even thought about your life? I know some of us go through life not thinking about our life and just living in the moment, which that is fine. There's nothing wrong with living in the moment because a lot of times some of us space out and we don't stay in the moment. But if you're in the moment, it's okay for you to take a moment to actually stop and think about your future and plan your future, right? And so, where are you at today in life? Are you riddled with worry, fear, doubt, anger, or maybe even sadness? You know, I find myself certain days riddled with anger for no reason, just feeling angry on the inside. No one has did anything to me. No one has said anything to me. I just happen to feel like I'm just angry that day. And sometimes I don't understand why. But one thing I have gotten better at is maintaining my anger and not projecting my anger on someone else who doesn't deserve to have it projected on them. And so that's one thing I have focused on. And one thing I do different when I'm feeling angry is I try to lead with love, right? Even though I'm in my angry moment, my mind space is angry, my environment is angry, my internal organs are angry. Yes, y'all, I said internal organs are angry. But when I get that way, I try to be more loving and positive to those around me because I can feel the ugliness within me. But it don't last as long as it used to because now I'm very aware of it these days and I catch it before it ends up, like I said, spilling on somebody else. But where are you at today in life? How do you feel? What do you feel? Or have you not stopped and thought about how do you feel today? Been reading this book and the title is called Letting Go. And yeah, I'm not good with author's names, so I'm not going to even try to figure out the author, but I read all these different books in a week and sometimes I just forget who the author is, even though the book is great. But I've been reading this book called Letting Go. And in this book, it talks about when we hang on to worry, fear, doubt, anger, and maybe even sadness. And sometimes sadness is from grief, right? But it talks about how we hold on to these different emotions. These emotions impact our internal organs. And with them impacting our internal organs, we start to pick up diseases, heart disease, kidney disease. We have issues with our arteries. We got issues with our blood, heart attacks, strokes, diabetes. Like all these illnesses could possibly be because you are living your life with holding on to too many emotions or that one main emotion. It just keeps you boggled up. And so we want to make sure that we find a way to overcome and not live through our emotion and live above our emotion, right? It's okay to be emotional about certain things, but your emotions should not last that long. It should just be for something that is in the moment and now you're over it, right? I'll tell y'all, back in the day, I used to also be riddled with fear. I used to wait and sit and think someone's going to call me today with bad news. Someone in my family's going to die today. That was really my mindset, y'all, and I was waiting for it to happen every single day. And ironically enough, it never happened, but I worried about it. I was fearful that it was going to happen. And so, because of that, I learned now, don't let those emotions take control of your life and you ruminate and sit in them for 3 or 4 days, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Because again, that causes unwanted illnesses that we don't want. And then some of that stuff leads to anger, right? They said that one thing I read in that book, Letting Go, it said that one small thing could lead to several different emotions, right? Let me give you an example. For example, someone that loses their job, right? They get laid off, they get displaced, or they just get fired. Well, because of that, they have all these different emotions. The emotion of worry. Now I've gotten laid off. Will I find a job in the future? Right now I lost my job. The fear is that will anyone hire me in the future or see my skills and my experience? Right. And then the next one is doubt. We try to become doubtful. Like, I doubt anyone want to hire me because I look like this, because I talk like that. And then we get angry. They fired me because of whatever reason. They laid me off because they didn't like the way I looked. Right. And then follows sadness. And see, y'all just share 5 different emotions from one scenario that happened. And that's really how it happens. And I just named 5. That can be way more emotions than that lead from that one thing. But again, y'all, we've got to learn to control the emotions. We got to not learn not to be riddled by emotion, but learn to overcome the emotion and let go and move forward with the past, move forward from the past, right? And move into our future. I saw this thing on Facebook. It said that a lot of people they instead of living in your past, you should move in with your future. Because when you move in with your future, you get over your past and a lot of those hurts and pains and emotions go away because now you're living in your future and not no longer in your past. And so I'm gonna land the plane for y'all. How do we live in our future? How do we get out of our past? How do we eliminate emotions? You're never going to be able to 100% eliminate emotions. Like I said, y'all, I'll be watching TV. It'd be a great show. It's one of my favorite shows. I'm loving it. And then all of a sudden, I get this crazy thought that leads to an emotion, right? Some of that stuff is just going to happen. You can't 100% stop that. You can control it, right? You can't stop it, but you can control it, right? And so one thing that I do is that when I think of something negative and I'm in a bad emotion, like I said, I start to lead with love, right? I start thinking about the things that I love in my life. I start thinking about those around me that supporting me, that I love them, and I don't want to project my anger and sadness on them. And so I start thinking of that, and because I think of that, I find ways to be more loving to them and not allow my emotion to be spilled onto them. Right. So number one is living in your future and not living in the past. Number 2, you got to find a coping mechanism. When you get in your mind, when you get in your brain or whatever you sit in, whatever emotion you're sitting in, you got to figure out a way to overcome that emotion. One thing that I do, y'all, is I have a gratitude journal. Every single morning, I write 5 gratitude statements in my gratitude journal. And guess what? When I'm having a bad day or one of those negative emotions come and try to take over my mind space, I think about that. I think about my gratitude statement for that day, right? Like, hey, I got 99 things going great and I got one thing going bad. Well, I'm be happy for 99 things I have. And then the one thing that's not great, to get better. We either are just forget about it, right? Some things are out of your control. You just gotta be willing to let go of things that's out of your control and only control the things that are within your control. Right. So, like I said, y'all, lead with love, lead with positivity, right? Last but not least, back to what I was saying, we need to find a coping mechanism, and your coping mechanism could be you having a gratitude journal. You looking back on the gratitude for that day. Another thing you could do is go be physical, go to the gym, go for a walk, go do some exercise. I know when I used to struggle a lot, I would go to the gym with a little anger, little sadness. And then as soon as I get out of the gym, I've now left that emotion at the gym. And now I feel way more refreshed and positive. And now I can start over my day in my mind and have a good closing to that day. Right. So do something physical. Go for a walk, go for a run, go for a jog. A lot of us like video games. I would never tell someone to use video game as their mechanism, but you know what, y'all? If it works for you, it works for you. I have nothing against video games. I used to love playing video games. The reason why I won't indulge in video games is because it starts to captivate my mind. I start to want to play the game all day, every day, and that's all I want to do. And so I'm never going to use a video game as my escape mechanism because I want to get stuck with that, and that's going to become another bad habit. But if you play the video game works for you, it works for you. Another tactic that works is journaling. Whatever you're dealing with that day, write down what you're feeling, why you're feeling it, and what can you do to overcome that feeling. Right. One big thing that I will call out that's good about that is that you narrowing down that emotion, that thought. From that thought, what emotion is it giving you, and what can you do to overcome that emotion? Right. For example, I'm upset right now. I had an argument with my mom a couple of weeks ago. She made me feel worthless. And so now I'm upset about her making me feel worthless. What can I do to overcome that? Call my mom eventually when I'm in the right headspace and let her know, hey, mom, the conversation we had a couple weeks ago, you made me feel so worthless. And I don't feel good because you said that to me and it's been lingering. Was there a particular reason why you said that? Right. One thing I want y'all to think about though, before you call and confront somebody though, make sure that you didn't add fuel to the fire, because a lot of times people say, oh, this person said that. In my mind, like, well, what did you say to them? Because if you said something negative and mean to them, you don't get a negative and mean response back the majority of the time. Right. But then if someone just got diarrhea of the mouth and they just coming at you saying all these mean things, that's a different story. Then you can say, hey, I don't like what you said. Right. So remember this, you calling that person to solve the problem, not making it worse. And if you see it set in the wrong direction, say, you know what, have a great day. I'll talk to you later. Stop it right there before it gets crazy again. I mean, I've had experiences where I call someone to try to resolve whatever issue we're having, and it just didn't go to that direction. And I stayed on a call for an extra hour, hour and a half, trying to prove my point, and it didn't get anywhere for any of us. But you got to know when to just say, you know what, it's not going to work today. Have a great day. And not every scenario is going to be resolved. Sometimes you just got to move forward, y'all. And so, y'all, those are the mechanisms that you can try to overcome whatever emotion you may be feeling. But back to my original question, where are you at in life today? How are you feeling? If you got some unresolved issues, go fix them. If you got some unresolved emotions that's causing you to feel less than, go fix them. Everything is fixable, but it needs to be fixed internally. I did this podcast episode years. I think it was years ago when I first started podcasting, and what the podcast title was Broken Trust, and I talk about how there's broken trust with people, and because we have broken trust, it leads down different avenues in life because of broken trust. And the point I want to make with that is that even if you have broken trust with someone, it doesn't mean that what they're going to say is going to fix whatever problem you're having. Sometimes it just doesn't resonate with the resolution, right? Sometimes it makes you end up feeling worse. And if it comes to that point, you got to know when to throw in the towel. But anyways, y'all, that is my mechanism for how you can overcome the past and really get rid of some unwanted emotions that's been bothering you for weeks and months and years. So after this episode, I really would like you to stop and think, where are you at today in life? What are you feeling? If you're feeling happy, great. Look for ways to find a way to be happier, right? Your internal work never stops. It continues. My internal work continues to continue. It never stops. I was just sharing my wife a couple of weeks ago. Like, I learned that I'm a moody person. It's just who I am. Now, do I allow my moodiness to overcome my day? No. Overtake my day is what I should say. But I know now that because I'm a moody person, I need to control my mood swings and not allow them, like I said earlier, to be projected on other folks. So we learn it, we live and we learn every day something new about ourselves. Just keep working and life will be better. I guarantee you that. Hey, y'all, thank y'all for listening to today's episode. I really appreciate it. If you've not hit that follow button, make sure you do so. When you hit the follow button, you'll never miss a moment to rewire the way you think. Y'all, I'm not hard to find. I'm on IG all day. It's Fast Forward Mindset Podcast. Go check out my website. It's www.rewirethewayouthink.com. If you're having thoughts of suicide, thoughts of hurting yourself or someone else, please don't hesitate to call the Suicide Prevention Hotline at 988. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. And as I always say, if your mindset isn't making you money, it's costing you way too much. And that's my 2 cents on that, y'all. Peace.
Thank y'all for listening to today's episode. And remember, don't rewind your life, fast forward it. Until next time, keep moving forward. Hey, y'all, I'm Coach James. Let me help rewire the way you think. All right, y'all. Peace.